Hey guys, my name is Parker Murray, and I'm going to talk to you about what it takes to actually be a professional video gamer. Have you ever wondered how on earth someone makes it into that top tier of a video game? How they always seem to know where you are? And have you ever accused someone of cheating, to win? Well, here I'll explain just how they're able to maintain their position at the top of the food chain. Alright, first let's talk a little bit about FPS, which is also known as a first person shooter. Now, the top tier players only play with specific people or have their own team per se. Building a team requires a lot of perseverance and willingness to teach others. Now, if we were to take a game such as Halo or Call of Duty, you always see these so-called clans at the top of the leaderboards. Clans are just a group of players that are always playing together and performing, strategic maneuvers. Usually, the clan will consist of a leader, several officers, and then the so-called grunts. The leader and the officers always work together to develop the strategy, while the grunts are the ones just who take orders. The whole system is extremely effective, provided that you have competent leader and officers. By competent, I mean they're already skilled at the game, and that adding the strategy is just boosting the level and bringing them up. Now, top tier players always have an impeccable aim and knowledge of advanced moves that will allow them to surpass the average Joe. Many people accuse others of cheating because their aim is always spot on. Now, there are what are called hacks for an Xbox or PlayStation that you can get and will aim for you. No, I'm not going to tell you what they are. The majority of players, however, that are at that top tier wouldn't be caught dead using one of those. They're really just that good. They've put countless hours in order to always land their shots where they're aiming. Anyone in here who has played Halo may have heard of a move called the Ninja, where you will be chasing someone and they will run around a corner, jump backwards, and assassinate you. Now, that kind of move is extremely difficult to perfect and to, actually have it succeed. But if you can do that, you can always kill people who are chasing you. Now, let's go through and explore their ranking and matchmaking system a little bit. Halo and Call of Duty differ greatly on how they rank and match their players. Halo generally keeps you with players of your skill level. It ranks you based on your previous performances, and as you continue to play, it will average out your skill level. Now, if you're playing better and better, it'll put you up against better opponents. And if you're playing worse and worse, it'll, rank you down. Now, Call of Duty, on the other hand, just kind of throws you in the lobby with random people. You have no idea how good they are. Now, the lobby is the area where the players congregate right before the game starts. Now, usually you'll go into a lobby with players who are trying to play the same game type as you are. Now, a game type is a type of game you're going to play. For instance, if you're in the capture the flag game type, you're playing capture the flag. Or if you're playing like team deathmatch, the object is for your team to come out ahead on kills. Now, let's talk about a different kind of game, and this kind of game is called an MMORPG, which stands for a massive multiplayer online role-playing game. Now, a great example of this would be World of Warcraft. Now, in this game, it's much harder to make the leaderboards because you have to not only level up a character to the max level, but you also have to practice and become extremely proficient at that character. Now, there's something to be said about synergy, especially because you have to be with a team of 10 or so players. There's typically a leader and a single officer in one of these groups. This kind of game is all about having a better strategy than your opponent. In the beginning of the game, the leader will call strat at the beginning and assign specific duties to specific players. Now, usually it's the best players that the leader has that will be receiving special assignments. Now, some people do cheat in these kinds of games with a program called an add-on. No, I'm not going to tell you what those are either. There are some that you can get that will literally play your character for you, and so you don't even have to hit any buttons. Now, let's take a look into their ranking system. Most of these games have a very similar ranking system to each other. You are awarded points for wins and lose points for losses. Now, you have two rankings. There is your personal ranking and your team's ranking. Your team's ranking is what determines how good of a team you'll go up against. If you win against a better team, you get more points. Vice versa, if you lose to a worse team, you'll lose more points. So let's say your team's ranking is like 1789, and you go up against a team that is ranked at 2132. Now, if you won against this team, you would gain probably like 20 to 30 points, while the other team loses 20 to 30 points. Now, if you lost to them, they would only gain 3 to 5 points, while you would only lose 3 to 5 points. It really is difficult to get your personal ranking up on the leaderboards. That's exactly what determines your spot. Personally, I'm sitting at 436th in the world, and I'll tell you, it has been a grind to find the best players to play with. But it is totally worth it when you're trying to, compete at that level. Alright guys, well, thanks for listening. I hope I didn't bore you to death about my video games. Have a good one.